What's up, guys? It's Jonathan with Rev Free Moto. Today, I'm here in Hatteras Island, North Carolina, in the Outer Banks. I've been renting this 2018 Bonneville with 21,000 miles on the clock as we speak. And I'm going to tell you why this motorcycle is the last motorcycle you'll ever buy.
Thanks so much for joining me today. Welcome back to the channel. If you're new here, please make sure you hit that like button, subscribe. I don't know what the heck this is. This is what the beach will do to a Volkswagen New Beetle, I guess. But this thing's pretty cool, huh? Alright, so we're heading south on Route 12 in Hatteras. Take a little tour of the southern tip of the island here. Oh my gosh, the sand blowing right in my eyes. So I am a T100 owner, and I've had the privilege of renting this T120 for the past week. It has antique plates on that Dodge. Wow, I must be getting old. Looked like about a 97, 98. The mileage on this thing is 21,037. So just over 21,000 miles. And it runs perfectly. There is no major issues with this motorcycle as far as the mechanical aspects of it, as far as the engine, the transmission, the brakes, everything is great. Just lots of low-end torque. And I was really afraid to get on this bike as a T100 owner because I was afraid that I would convince myself that I needed to upgrade and that I shouldn't have got a T100, that I should have got a T120. And I think it can be argued both ways. This motorcycle is great across the board. It does everything well. There are some things it could do better, but just like the T100 could do some things better. So this video is not supposed to be a T100 versus T120 video. I want to talk mostly about the T120. But if you're in the market for a T120 or a T100, I will kind of go into that a little bit as far as what you're getting. So this is a 1200cc parallel twin fuel injected 270 degree crank. It is dual exhaust. It has twin rotors in the front. Now that is something more than you would get with a T100. A T100 has a single rotor in the front, Brembo brakes, and so it stops great. I think the older generations of the T100 prior to 2022, before they brought in the Brembo brakes, I believe there were some complaints about the braking being less than satisfactory. That's the ferry right there to Ocracoke Island. Sees a bunch of cars in line to get on the ferry. And up here we have the graveyard of the Atlantic Museum. So in this bike, again, it's a 1200cc parallel twin and lots of low-end torque. I'll throw the numbers up on the screen as far as horsepower and torque. Unchanged. This is a 2018 model, but the 2025s have the same numbers. They are unchanged. as I kind of go into low speed mode here, one thing that I'm reminded of with this motorcycle is that because of all that extra stuff on the front end, you have a lot more weight. And it's not, the motorcycle itself is only, I think between the T120 and the T100 is only about 17, 18 pounds, something like that, between the two. But you feel it all in the front end. And when you're trying to go around slow speed maneuvers, like riding around this parking lot or going around a low speed curve, it's very sluggish, I would say, in comparison to the T100. I have two kids. Like my daughter is 15, and my son is 8, and so the T120 is like my 15-year-old daughter. Like, hey, let's go do this right now, and she'd be like, oh, okay, fine, and that's the T120 trying to go around a low-speed maneuver. It's like, okay, I guess, fine, we'll do this. But with the T100, that's like my 8-year-old son. It's like, okay, yeah, let's do it. Yeah, no problem. So it's that's, maybe that's a stupid analogy, but if you've ridden the two bikes, maybe you can tell me in the comments if you understand what I'm talking about. There's definitely a difference in the way the bikes handle, and I think on a twisty road, you're definitely going to feel that a little bit. But this thing, it kicks butt as far as it has more power, more torque than I'll ever need. It's great. It's got 6 gears. The T100 only has 5. Now they're geared. The bike is geared really, really tall, and so the 6th gear on this motorcycle on the T120 is kind of like an overdrive. So even at 60 miles an hour, 55, 60 miles an hour, or 100 kilometers per hour for those of you in the UK and other countries that use kilometers per hour. Even at those speeds, 60 miles an hour, you don't really feel like you need 6th gear. It's weird. So it's really purely an overdrive, and yeah, you can shift into 6 at 60 miles an hour, but there's just no power there. So you really wait till you get to 70, 65, 70 miles an hour. So I would say that if you're cruising a lot on the highway and high speed runs, it would be very nice to have a T120. See, I'm going around this corner and it's like, oh, all right, fine, gosh, all right, I guess we'll do it. But this thing, I'm just kidding, like, it doesn't handle that bad at all. It handles great. It's much more planted feeling, whereas the T100 is kind of more flickable, I guess, a little more nimble feeling. But overall, I did notice, like on rides where the engine, get a good heat cycle out of the engine, that the T120, the 1200cc, seems to put off a little bit more heat. If you have you ever ridden a Triumph with the 1200 motor, whether it be the high torque like this one has, or the high power like in the Scrambler, tell me your thoughts on that, because I noticed when I test rode a Scrambler 1200, I was feeling a little bit more heat as well. But it's nothing like horrible. I just noticed a little bit more heat. It's a bigger motor, so I think it's going to put off a little more heat. I don't think there's any danger of it overheating. At lower speeds, this thing has so much torque. It's almost a little bit, maybe not quite as smooth as the T100, but it just wants to get up and go. And I think that's the thing. Like, this thing is meant for, if you want a little more power, a little more low-end grunt, I think the T100 is adequate, is perfect. T120 is really where it's at as far as optimal power, optimal torque. and that extra gear. So you also get, on the newer models, you get cruise control, where I never use that, but that's important to some people. So if you're doing a lot of touring and longer runs, I think a T120 is great. I still think you can tour with a T100, but if the cruise control is important to you, then T120 already comes with it. You can add cruise, and you can add things like heated grips that come standard on these older T120s, but you can add that to either one of the T100 or the T120. And so, why do I say that this motorcycle? I mean, the more I ride it, this is the way I feel. I feel like this is like the perfect motorcycle. It does everything wonderfully and nothing horribly. It's just good at everything it does. Now, off-road, you'd have to probably do some modification, but you could probably get this thing to be, you know, a little bit of an off-roader. But for a street bike, you know, this, you could put a big windshield on it. That may not be the look you want, but if you want to get out of the wind, you can put a big shield on a touring windshield. Triumph has those for sale. You can get an aftermarket. But you know, as far as other things that this thing has, you know, going on for it, it's gonna do 2-up really well. It comes with the 2-up seat. You don't have to modify the seat at all. The older models come with a grab rail. The newer models, I'm pretty sure you'll have to add that, but it's not a heck of a lot. You know, you can put saddlebags on it. You can put a backrest on it. It's just your perfect standard motorcycle, and has plenty of power. As we go into the wasteland between Hatteras and I think Frisco is the next town up, but there's plenty of power on this bike. It's more power than I would ever need. It's got road mode and rain mode. It's got ABS. You know, it's got traction control. It's got all these things that, you know, it's got everything you need and nothing you don't. And so, for the price point, you know, you can pick up one of these in the U.S. around, I think, 15, and you can probably do better than that. If you pick up a used one, you can do really well. I've seen T120s a couple of years old, like a 22, 23 model, for 8,000 to 8,500, you know, from private sellers. And, you know, so I think you could snag a deal on a T120 if you bought one that was a couple of years old. And so I just feel like, what else could you possibly need out of a motorcycle? You know, if you need it to tour, to go across the country, why not on a Triumph T120 Bonneville? If you need it for the back roads, why not on this motorcycle? It's just the perfect weight, the perfect power point, and great stopping power, beautiful to look at. And this thing is, I mean, you want to talk about reliability? This thing runs so smooth, so wonderfully. And it's got, I know 20,000 miles, 21,000 miles isn't a huge amount of mileage, but this thing has had some hard miles put on it. It's been a rental bike for most of its life. And because of that, it is beat to heck. It is ridden hard and put away wet. And yet it performs flawlessly. It performs flawlessly. It is so smooth. It is so powerful. There is no hesitation. There are no problems with it at all. The suspension is still just wonderful. It's actually almost a little cushy, I would say. And I don't like using that word, but if you hit a big bump, like, it absorbs it, the rear suspension especially. And so, like, you know, I am very thankful for that. Now the T100 in comparison, has a little bit more of a stiff suspension, I would say. But this thing is incredible as far as the watch this sand here. Woo! That would suck to dump this bike. Can you imagine the look on the guy's face when I return it? It's got scratches all the way down it. I don't think he'd be too happy. I'm not sure how much you can see on this GoPro. If you look really close, it's got a lot of surface rust. It's a beach bike. You know, this thing has lived its whole life at the beach. And so if you know what the beach is like, it destroys anything metal. Just all the salt in the air, and it oxidizes. So there's some pitting, some surface rust, you know, on the handlebars, on the stem nut here, on the rotors. But, you know, and maybe a little bit of the, well, I don't really see any rust on the engine. Oh, there's some flaking and some pitting up here on the top end. But, you know, there's a little bit of oil seepage, maybe some gaskets, you know, but mostly the engine's dry. Look at the chrome on the exhaust on the mufflers, or the silencers, as the British say. I mean, look at it. Oh my gosh, it's in perfect condition. Look at all this rust on the suspension. Oh my gosh. But it's all surface rust, you know. This thing's holding up great, and just a perfect bike. Like, for 21,000 miles, just beaten to death, rented by several different people. Who knows how hard it's been ridden? Who knows what kind of treatment the poor girl's had? You know, like I said, ridden hard and put away wet. And this thing is just a survivor. It is just absolutely, like, completely flawless. And from far away, from 10 feet away, it looks great. It still looks really good. It still looks really good. So I just really think it's a wonderful bike, and it sounds good. But it sounds great. It performs wonderfully, and it just brings a smile to your face to ride it. And I think that's really where, for me, it all comes together. You know, now would I, you know, go and trade in my T100 if I had the opportunity for a T120? Right now, no, I would not. And here's why. I think that they definitely have, the T120 definitely has some advantages, right, over the T100. It definitely does. It's got more power, it's got more horsepower, more torque, it's got another braking disc, you know, it's got that 6-gear, bigger motor, all that stuff. Feels a little bit more planted because of its extra weight, but it also, that extra weight works against it a little bit, and I do feel like there is a little sluggishness in the handling at lower speeds. Not anything that would make it a deal breaker for me. If somebody, you know, came and gave me a free one, I'm not going to turn it away. These are wonderful motorcycles. But for me, as a T100 owner, I chose the 900cc motor over the 1200 for the sole reason that I like the character of the 900. I like that I can use the whole power band, and it really pulls well, just like the 1200, but you're getting into the throttle just a little bit more. You're enjoying the experience a little bit more. Whereas this bike on the T120, when you are trying to get up to speed and you're like, let's go, bike, it's like, all right, no problem, yes sir, you know, it just goes. The 900 is like, okay, let's go. It's like, here comes more analogies, right? It's like a puppy is the T100, and an old dog is the 1200, you know, or the T120, sorry. The T120 is the old dog, and it's like, okay, I've been here before. This is no problem. Let's just do this. You got it. And when it comes to acceleration and getting some power out of this motor. But with the T100, you know, you got to twist that throttle just a little bit more, and it's like, okay, yeah, let's do it. But then it gets a little tuckered if you don't really open up the throttle. So maybe another bad analogy, but this is what's just coming to my brain. This is why, you know, all the pros do the voiceovers. You want a real challenge? Do a moto vlog while you're actually live and talking on the camera. You know. If you want to edit out all your mistakes and have a perfect script, then you can do that and have a voiceover, but I prefer the moto vlog. I think it adds a little more realism to it. As far as the sound is concerned, though, like, and just comparing the two bikes, I feel like they both sound wonderful. I'm hoping that my T100 will, I've been told that they'll mellow out over time, and my T100's only got like, you know, 1,000 miles on it or so, so I've got some miles to put on it to open the pipes up. But yeah, tell me what you think. Are you in the market for a T100 or a T120? Have you test ridden one or the other? What are your thoughts on the motorcycle? Do you own a T120 and wouldn't have it done any other way? I can see why. This is an awesome motorcycle. Just awesome. And confidence inspiring. I think that's the last thing I'll say about the T120, is that you got sure power, sure braking, and knowing that that sixth gear is there if you need it is a nice feeling. You're not accidentally ever shifting into sixth or trying to shift to a gear that's not there. That's what I meant. So like the T100, sometimes you get up and you're going through the gears and you're looking for that extra gear. It's very rare, but sometimes you try to shift and you're in fifth and that's it. So I do appreciate that about the T120. I do appreciate the extra power, and I do appreciate the extra braking, especially if I had some extra weight. If I had one of my family members, my wife, my daughter, riding on the back, you know, and you get that extra weight, it's nice knowing that you've got two nice big discs up there to stop you, better stopping power. So I think it makes you a little more confident, not cocky, right, but just confident, knowing that the motorcycle can handle it and that there's just no doubt. So that sums it up for me, guys. That's why I feel like the Bonneville, whether it's the T120 or the T100, is a perfect motorcycle. It's the last motorcycle that you'll ever buy. And I'm signing off with that. If you haven't subscribed to Rev Free Moto, please consider subscribing. Let me know your thoughts in the comments, guys. Know that I appreciate you, love you all. God bless. And remember, it's who you're becoming. That's what matters the most. God bless, guys. We will see you